Hey guys, welcome to another MapleStory video. Sorry I haven't made a guide. This isn't really a guide video, but sorry I haven't made a decent video in a while. Just been recovering from grinding for 30 hours a couple weeks ago or something ridiculous like that. But today, I want to do kind of a tier list video, but not in the same style as everyone else. Instead, I'm just going to rank every Link skill in MapleStory from worst to best. Thumbnail says best to worst, but I think it's better if we start the other way around, so let's go with that. Couple things I want to mention before we get started. This is not a be-all end-all ranking because there are some classes that take better advantage. Ooh, that's Twitter. Sorry about that. My bad. Where was I? Right, but this is not the be-all end-all ranking because there are some classes that take better advantage of some Link skills than others, and also some Link skills that aren't even power boosting skills so much as being utility. Instead, what I want to do is think about it from a general standpoint. In other words, which Link skills get the most usage out of every class as possible. Goes without saying that you want to get your hands on all Link skills, and while you can only equip 12 at a time on a single character, it's important to make sure you level up every single class too, just because there's also the Maple Legion, but that is for another video. If you guys enjoyed the video, a rating would be much appreciated, and let me know in the comment section below if you agree or disagree with the placement of these skills, but other than that, let's get started. Lowest on the list would arguably have to be the Cygnus Knight's Cygnus Blessing. It raises your status and elemental resist up to a total of 25%. This used to be one of the best in the game back when status resist was a percentage chance of avoiding a debuff entirely. Elemental resist kinda sucked because it didn't really do anything, but whatever, the status resist was super important. A couple of years back, Nexon changed the status resist to be similar to that of League of Legends' Tenacity, where instead of being a random chance to avoid a status effect, it reduces the duration of it, which would still be good if status resist didn't have such terrible scaling. Most classes have a base of 50%, meaning all crowd control only lasts half as long on you. To get it any higher than 50% takes insane amount of abnormal status resist, which is super hard to get, so needless to say, this Link sucks now. Shade's Close Call comes in close to being the worst Link skill in the game, but not quite. It's a Link skill that has a low percent chance to survive a fatal blow, up to 10% at level 2. In concept, this Link skill is absolutely broken, and when I used to use it a lot, there were quite a few times where Shade Link actually saved my life during clutch moments, but in boss raids, especially harder ones, leaving survival up to chance is anything but a good idea. Long and short of it is too unreliable. If percent chance was 30% or something, then this would be like a top tier Link skill, but 10% is too inconsistent, it's too low to give you any noticeable benefit over just dodging attacks. Next comes Jet's Core Aura, which could either be one of the strongest Link skills in the game or one of the worst. Basically gives you a random assortment of the 4 stats, weapon, and magic attack. While there are some items that do allow you to reroll the stats on the Link skill and lock its stats, the ones that really give high stats on Core Aura are cash shop items. Not to mention, you have to constantly maintain the stat arrangement by locking it. In other words, it's a pay to win Link skill. If you have the resources to do so, you can get like 30 attack and 30 all stat, which is significant, but why go through the effort of wasting money on a Link skill when there are so many better ones that are free? Coming in next, you probably saw this coming, it's Kaiser's Iron Will. It gives you just more max HP, up to 20%. It's a pretty decent Link skill only on Demon Avengers. On every other class, max HP is kind of an irrelevant stat because almost every boss in the game does percent max HP true damage anyway, so there's no point in going for more health unless you're still new to the game and need the extra health for survivability. But even then, potions are really easy to get compared to like 8 years ago. You can get 400 billion power elixirs in a day. By the way, this Link skill gets almost completely overshadowed by the one that comes right after. Cannonier's Pirate Blessing is basically an infinitely better Kaiser Link because not only does it give percent max HP, but it also gives percent max MP and all stat. Still a kinda crummy Link skill in my opinion because of the aforementioned reason regarding HP, but 35 flat all stat isn't really anything to write home about. It's one of the more outdated Link skills because Cannoneers were the first to have one, but it's nowhere near as bad as the ones mentioned before. Next one might spur some controversy, mostly just because some classes need this Link skill a lot and others don't, but Mihail's Link, Night's Watch, gives 100% stance for a period of time. After its rework or minor rework, they got a different Link skill, but the one that you transfer over to other characters is still 100% stance. On classes that don't have innate stance like Night Lords, Archers, and some mages, etc., it's a terrific utility skill. But for the vast majority of classes in Maple who have some kind of power stance passive like Warriors, let's say Dual Blade, Shadower, Pirate, etc., they don't need this at all. For some classes its value is unrivaled, but for others it's redundant, so I'll leave it here since it's contingent on which class you're playing. In my opinion, all the links I mentioned so far are quote-unquote bad link skills, but they're still worth picking up because you never know when you might need to use them. Plus, while some of those links are bad, they make up for it with a great Legion stat boost. For example, I mentioned Jet and Shade's link being the worst in the game. Those two have an amazing Maple Legion link of 5% crit damage at level 200, so you do want to get them anyway. Now, this is the sort of hard part because every link skill hereafter is really good, and you effectively want all of them, but I'll try my best to parse them in proper order as best I can. So let's start with Aaron's Combo Kill Blessing. It boosts the experience of combo kill orbs by an insane amount. This link skill is really good for training characters since without it, combo kill orbs, you know, those glowing blue, purple, red, gold things you see while training, they don't give you jack. But with this link skill, they're actually quite good. At max rank, I believe it gives you like 10 times more experience per combo orb. But following Aaron's link skill, we have Evan's Rune Persistence, which I think is more useful because it extends the duration of the EXP buff runes give you by a respectable amount, up to 70% longer. If memory serves, the 100% bonus experience you get from runes normally lasts only 3 minutes, versus their 15-minute cooldown. But with Rune Persistence, you can get yourself an easy 4 to 5 minutes. It's a terrific bonus. Highly recommend shooting for this link and Aaron's link if you're gonna train. However, the best training link skill of all time goes to Mercedes' Elven Blessing, flat out giving you a bonus of 10 to 20% extra experience permanently, no conditions. Hands down the best link skill in the game for training, and it also lets you teleport to LUL every so often. Nothing much else to say about it though, just gives a flat experience rate boost, but very helpful. First combat link skill I want to go over is Zero's Renee's Blessing, which gives you up to 15% damage reduction and 10% defense penetration. Not bad of a skill, but like I said before, most bosses deal % max HP true damage, and the only monsters that have a remote chance of even killing you are those bosses. And while defense penetration is important, 10% is, let's be real, it's kind of negligible. Zero's Legion block is a bit better than their link skill, but that's, like I said, for another video. Coming in next is Cadena's Unfair Advantage, which gives you up to 6% bonus damage to targets below your level, and an additional 6% more if the target is afflicted by crowd control. Once again, while the power of this link is really high because you can get 12% bonus damage, it's very conditional. Most of the time if you're fighting a boss, they're either equal to your level or higher than you, especially the high level ones like Lucid, Will, Gloom, Varicilla, Darknell, and such. Also, bosses are immune to almost all status effects that aren't class exclusive, so unless you're playing a class like a Thief that can apply Venom, Demon Slayer, Ice Lightning Mage, or Fire Poison Mage, something like that, it's going to be difficult to apply any crowd control on the target. So while I think Unfair Advantage is a great skill, the fact that it's contingent on whichever class can apply a sort of debuff that isn't blocked by, let's say, boss resistance, it puts it a bit lower on the list. Hayato's Keen Edge is essentially a better version of Cannonier's Link, trading out the max HP and MP for attack and magic attack instead. A much more valuable stat to have. It's a very solid link skill, just gives you flat stats, and unlike Jet, you don't have to spend money to get those stats and maintain it. It's a free 25 all and 15 attack. Phantom's Phantom Instinct is next in line and it gives you a free critical hit rate. Very few classes can reach 100% crit rate on their own, not factoring things like, let's say, Legion block or equipment. And even if there are classes that have critical strike guarantees like Dual Blade and Demon Slayer, it's still wise to have 100% crit, since critical hits do a lot more damage than regular ones, and it's a solid link skill to shoot for. After Phantom is Angelic Buster's Terms and Conditions, a short duration boost in damage, but it's a huge amount of damage. At max level, you can get a 60% steroid for 10 seconds, and those 10 seconds can be extended with buff duration. AB's Link is an awesome skill to have for classes that rely on burst frame windows such as Luminous, Dual Blade, Night Lords, etc. But even for classes that rely on DPM over DPS, 10 plus seconds of 60% damage boost is incredible. I would put it higher on the list if it lasted a bit longer, but it's still a very serviceable skill. Luminous's Light Wash gives you 20% defense penetration, or ignore defense, whatever the semantics you guys want to call it. A much more respectable number than Zero's 10%. I would say it's not the best combat stat to aim for, since you need a lot of it, but like I said, it's beneficial to a lot of classes. Xenon's Link skill Hybrid Logic gives you 10% all stat. Unlike the previous stat boosting links like Cannoneer and Hayato, which were flat, this link gives you % all stat, meaning it scales with however much base stat you have. A bit plain for a link skill, but Xenons do center around having all stats, so it helps them and it helps pretty much everyone except Demon Avenger. Demon Slayer's Fury Unleashed has the same metrics as Phantom and Kaiser, only this class gives you boss damage. Boss damage is always an important stat to shoot for no matter what class you're playing, and 20% boss damage is a big deal. Nothing else much needs to be said, it's a fantastic passive. Beast Tamer's Focus Spirit is an awkward mix between Phantom, Demon Slayer, and like Kaiser Link skill. It gives you up to 10% boss damage, 10% crit rate, and 5% max HP and MP, so a little bit of everything put into one. But since 2 of the 3 stats are good to have, I rate this link higher than the ones before, since it's a bit more versatile. Unfortunately, Beast Tamer is an event-based class, meaning its accessibility can become a minor problem, but whenever you do get the chance, you should definitely train one up without hesitation. I feel like a lot of newer players undervalue Kinesis' Link skill Judgment quite a lot. They see the 4% crit damage bonus and go, oh, whatever, big deal, it's only 4% damage. Trust me, that's an insane boost in your damage. Since critical damage is second to last stat factored into the damage formula, the increase in your power is far more substantial than the likes of total damage or even boss damage. Top priority Link skill to go for. Starting to near the end of the list, so let's not waste any more time and continue on with Ilium's Tide of Battle, a Link skill that boosts your damage based on how much distance you travel, which I find to be a very ironic skill considering Iliums prefer to stand still while attacking, but basically, you get up to 12% bonus damage just by walking around. It's a super easy Link skill to stack up that gives you a ton of bonus damage. In very rare cases, it's weaker than Cadena's Link skill, but far more consistent, which is why it's so high up on the list. The bronze medal goes to Arc Solus, a Link skill similar to Ilium's Tide of Battle, only this one's damage increment is dependent on how much time you spend in combat, up to 11% bonus damage. The reason why I rank this higher than Ilium is because there are some cases where moving is rather inconvenient, such as when you're trying to dish out a ton of burst damage and need to stand still, which can hurt your DPS, but Solus does take much longer to fully ramp up to max stacks than Ilium, but all you have to do is just be in combat, which you'll be doing 99% of the time. Silver medal goes to Resistance Spirit of Freedom, which is a uniquely overpowered Link skill that gives you invincibility for up to 8 seconds upon respawning after death. Complete invulnerability, you can't get hit by anything. This skill is essentially a way more useful version than Shade's Close Call. Since in boss raids you face the danger of being spawn killed upon respawning, this skill removes this problem altogether by giving you up to 8 seconds to get your buffs back up or to reposition quickly. Some people argue Spirit of Freedom is not as useful as it sounds and that it's kind of overrated, but trust me when I say you need this Link skill if you want to go bossing, unless you're so good at bossing that you never die. The first place winner actually goes to two classes because they have the exact same Link skill. Kana's Elementalism and Demon Avenger's Wild Rage, each granting a permanent increase in total damage up to 15%. Free damage. You cannot go wrong with free damage. The two most important combat Link skills in the game, and I would recommend any new player to train these two classes up first. Plus, both Kana and Demon Avenger have great Legion bonuses. I'm pretty sure we can all agree these two links are the best. Okay, so that's it. A long list of Link skills, but I think I covered all of them. I don't know what the new one is going to be. The Hoyoung? The thief, Kana, furry looking cat guy? I don't know. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I covered all of them. Hope you guys enjoyed watching, and if you want to, let me know in the comment section below how you would rate these Link skills from worst to best. If you enjoyed, please be sure to leave a rating and subscribe for more content. Video requests are always welcome in the comments, so if you want to leave one of those as well, you may. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all again soon in the next video. Take care.